advice. If you go on to paragraph 3.5 of the Commission's report, it says, quote, "It is further recommended that Colonel Opoku be made to immediately release the weapons used for, as well as the persons involved in the operation, to enable ballistic testing and analysis to be undertaken, and for further investigations by the police." Now, sadly but unsurprisingly, President Akufo-Addo, under whose leadership the said atrocities were committed by Colonel Opoku and his bandits, rejected the findings of the commission in his infamous white paper. To add insult to injury, President Akufo-Addo and the NPP have now promoted this man to the high rank of Brigadier General and rewarded him with the position of General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. I must say, the revered Ghana Armed Forces. This is what has further emboldened him to champion yet another election rigging scheme through violence. In his current position, and for those who don't know, this is a position given to him only in 2024. He was appointed in April and inducted in July of this year. And if you can go back to that green image, the extract from the Ghana Armed Forces website, you will see it. Central Command inducts Brigadier General Opoku into office. And if you look at the date, it is 16 July 2024. So this is not a mere coincidence. This is the chief hatchet man of Akufo-Addo and the NPP. Strategically promoted when he should be reprimanded and punished, and rewarded with this critical position as a central, the commanding officer of the Central Command. And when we say Central Command, the headquarters of the Central Command is Kumasi, Ashanti region to be precise. I'm happy that the former regional minister and chair of RECSEC, Dr. Samuel Sapon, is here. In his current position, Brigadier General Opoku has been mandated by President Akufo-Addo to take charge of a well-crafted scheme that has been designed by the NPP to rig the upcoming elections, particularly in the Ashanti region. Through ballot stuffing, swapping of ballot boxes, swapping of pink sheets, and other clandestine activities, starting with a special voting exercise scheduled for December 2nd of this year. Having relocated his family to the United Kingdom, Brigadier General Opoku has vowed to do all it takes to carry out his shady election rigging plots in exchange for the position of Chief of Defense Staff in the unlikely event that the NPP wins the 2024 elections. So for him, it's personal. And those who know him will tell you that he openly brags that on December 7th and December 2nd, they will kill NPP supporters like flies. NDC supporters like flies. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC has received reliable intel to the effect that Brigadier General Opoku is responsible for the training of NPP thugs at Esutuare military camp and other places. And he plans to clothe these bandits in military apparel to unleash violence on NDC agents, supporters, and innocent civilians on 7th December 2024 and 2nd December 2024, the special voting day. The NDC acknowledges and commends personnel in our security agencies who work tirelessly to protect our dear nation and are determined to protect the votes of suffering Ghanaians. Let me repeat this for emphasis. The National Democratic Congress acknowledges and commends personnel in our security agencies who work tirelessly to protect our dear nation and are determined to protect the votes of suffering Ghanaians. Sadly, unlike the many professional and noble men and women in Ghana's security agencies, Brigadier General Opoku has turned himself into a rabid MPP functionary who openly mobilizes funds from businessmen in Kumasi for the new patriotic party. Per our credible intel, Brigadier General Opoku's residence in Kumasi is currently the storage facility of weapons, illegally printed ballot papers, military apparels, and other election materials, which the MPP intends to use to execute this dastardly and subversive agenda. When you hear Akufo-Addo says that he will never hand over to President John Dramani Mahama, even though he knows that should elections be held today, he will emerge victorious. This is their plan. This is his hatchet man, positioned to unleash yet another violence on innocent civilians so that they can subvert the will of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, in Brigadier General Michael Opoku, we have an officer with a notorious track record unbecoming of the command he holds. This devious character carries the mayhem and brutality he supervised at Ayawaso West Wagon as a badge of dishonor. A person like him has no place in the current environment where Ghanaians are calling for violence-free elections. Given his history, we in the NDC call for his immediate removal from his position as General Officer Commanding of the Central Command. A miscreant like that should not be allowed anywhere near the security architecture for the impending 2024 general elections. The NDC wishes to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, to Brigadier General Michael Opoku and his ilk in the new patriotic party, that we have them under our radar and we will continue to monitor them with eagle eyes. This time around, he and his ilk shall not succeed. Violence cannot and will not win the MPP this year's election. The NDC calls on the Inspector General of Police, who is the chairman of the Election Security Task Force, not to allow any person to usurp his authority. Ghanaians still await justice for the 8 innocent Ghanaians who were shot and killed during the 2020 elections, including those shot in broad daylight at Echiman South. We have not forgotten how in Cabronu, in Banda, an innocent teacher trainee who doubles as an evangelist called Silas was stabbed and murdered in cold blood by MPP hoodlums. Until date, the perpetrators are walking free. And as a result, today you have a useless character, a buffoon like Abronye, who goes to Banda, the very place that young man was murdered. Not too long ago, a few days ago, he goes to that place and he says that in this year's election, more people will be murdered than we saw at Techima. Well, I have news for him. If he tries anything silly, he will not live to see the aftermath of this year's election. Because the people of this country will not sit aloof and allow innocent Ghanaians to be murdered. I'm just coming from Banda, where I concluded my Bono tour. And if you go there today, the police commander there and the electoral commission district officer have all been transferred. They've all been transferred and new people brought there for obvious reasons. And you should see the kind of tensions that are beginning to rise in the area. This is not what we want for Ghana. Elections are about counting hairs and not cutting hairs. No single person in Ghana must lose their life because of an election. Because this is about the people's free will to decide for themselves those they deem fit to lead them. So we are calling on the Inspector General of Police, who is a chairman of the Election Security Task Force, not to allow any persons to usurp his authority. The IGP and the Election Security Task Force must get to the bottom of this election rigging plot and stop Brigadier General Opoku and his thugs from embarking on another Techiman-styled killings. The IGP owes a duty to the people of Ghana to be firm and fair-minded to ensure peace during and after the December 7th elections. In this regard, we in the NDC assure him of our fullest cooperation. We also call on the Chief of Defense Staff to institute investigations into these important issues and bring Brigadier General Opoku to book. We are aware that as we speak, he is sabotaging him because he has the backing of Akufo-Addo. And so he doesn't respect upon paper. He has been promised that help us maim, intimidate, harass, kill people so that the MPP can rig the election. And when we win, you'll be made CDS. And so he doesn't even give a hoot about the CDS. But the CDS owes a duty to Ghana and the oath he has sworn to put his foot down and ensure that this guy is called to order. The NDC and by extension the people of Ghana who hold the IGP and the Chief of Defense Staff and our security heads responsible for the loss of a single life in the 2024 general elections. As I have already said, elections are about counting heads and not cutting heads. No person must lose his or her life on the altar of elections. Friends from the media, peace has a price. And all of us, well-meaning Ghanaians, must be prepared to pay that price for peace to prevail in Ghana before, during, and after the 2024 general elections. One of the ways to preserve the peace and stability of Ghana is to join hands in condemning persons who have the tendency and proclivity of compromising free, fair, and peaceful elections. With barely 18 days to the December 7th polls, the NDC is confident, 100% confident of a resounding victory if the elections are free, fair, and peaceful. This is because the NDC has a superior presidential candidate with a superior vision and message, backed by a superior proven track record. The upcoming election is a choice between a trustworthy, reliable, and honest leader in the person of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama against the dishonest, discredited, unrepentant, pathological liar and common Alhaji Bawumia. We in the NDC have no doubt that Ghanaians will choose an honest leader who upholds the virtues of truth, decency, and candor in public life over one who is completely allergic to the truth. The December 7th polls is a choice. And listen to me carefully. Those of you who love your children, December 7th polls is a choice between a political party, the NDC, that truly believes in the promotion of proper human sexual rights and family values for the protection of the innocence of our children. And on the other hand, a political party, the MPP, that supports the promotion of LGBTQ++, hence the refusal of their leader to sign the anti-LGBTQ++ bill into law. This election is a choice between the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as against the failed economist, Alhaji Bawumia. It is not about violence. It is a choice between President Mahama, who bequeathed a solid economy with a stable credit rating of B-, sustainable public debt, and strong economic buffers, as compared to the failed economist Alhaji Bawumia, who has borrowed Ghana into bankruptcy and supervise the near collapse of the Ghanaian economy. Friends, our dear nation is at a crossroads and requires an urgent reset. We don't need violence. What we need is an urgent reset. Not only have the Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government failed to keep almost all their flagship promises to Ghanaians, but they have totally run down Ghana's economy, leading to unprecedented hardships and an ever-worsening standard of living. Ghanaians need the experience and steady pair of hands His Excellency John Dramani Mahama offers. His proven track record of sound economic management and the right transformational vision is what Ghana needs at a time such as this to steer us out of the current abyss we find ourselves. We in the NDC are convinced that Ghanaians will vote for change on December 7th. You can say amen to that. Amen. Because the people of Ghana will choose experienced, tried and tested nation builder John Dramani Mahama over the dangerous and fraudulent experiment called Alhaji Bawumia. The MPP knows this, and seeing defeat staring at them in the face, have resorted to dark and evil plans to rig the election through ballot stuffing, the swapping of ballot boxes, pink sheets, and other shady activities using willing and dangerous collaborators like Brigadier General Opoku and the 2BN commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Nyako Osai. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is all we have. Hence the NDC's unconditional commitment to peace. Anyone who plots or attempts to subvert the will of the people by undermining the sanctity of the upcoming election is an enemy of the state and must be dealt with in accordance with law. We all owe it a sacred duty to God and country to expose and stop such characters so as to ensure that the peace and democracy we enjoy today is sustained. Thank you very much for your attention, and may God bless our whole land. Do you have questions for me? I don't think you do. So, let me quickly. Okay, I see a hand. I see a hand. I see one hand here, one hand here. The three of you, can you come in front? We'll give you a microphone. You tell us your name, your media organization. Your media organization. Can we clear the aisle here so that they can come to the front? Let's give them that access. So your name, your media organization, you keep it brief so that we can quickly do the tree translation. Yeah, please come in front. Sound man, the mic, we need sound on the mic. Can you quickly do that? Okay, let's do without it. Let's do without it. Yes.
Listen, the basic question on the minds of a lot of people is, outside of detailing the history of this individual, you in the NDC have not provided any evidence to substantiate the claim of a ploy to rig. You say his house is a storehouse for weapons, military uniform, and some other things. There's nothing in terms of evidence that has been presented. People will make the argument simply that you're just making wild allegations against the person of a man who's risen through the ranks. Where's the evidence to back all of the things that you're saying?
Well, the accounts have an adage that goes, that says that the Orekrano, Okaso Berekotoa, Yinine Chinye. To which the man who chews calabash, if he says that he will chew a crab, you don't have to argue with him, because there isn't much of a difference between a crab and a calabash. We have shown you the track record of the man we are talking about, Brigadier General Opoku. You all saw what happened at Ayawaso West Wagon. It was the first time in the history of Ghana that we saw so-called national security operatives wearing masks, armed to the teeth with sophisticated weapons, brazenly and openly assaulting innocent, unarmed civilians, maiming people. You saw that. Today there are many people, there are some people who can't walk. They have suffered lifetime deformities because of the brutalities meted to them by those MPP hoodlums. And you heard the confession of the man. He said he takes responsibility. The Elmi Short Commission found him liable for those atrocities and recommended that he should be reprimanded. Are you not worried that the president did not implement that recommendation? And instead of, in what country can a man like this man receive a promotion from Colonel to Brigadier General? In what country can a man like this man be rewarded after maiming people, brutalizing people, be rewarded with the position of General Officer Commanding of the Central Command? In what country? His mere appointment is a scandal, because this is a man who should be facing sanctions and not be enjoying promotion. And as for evidence, these matters are based on credible intelligence we have picked. We know what we are talking about. Unfortunately, the MPP is in office, so they will not allow for a search to be conducted in the presence of the media at his residence. But the media, you have reporters in Kumasi. If he has nothing to hide, he should open his doors today for you to go around his house and check. If he has nothing to hide. But they are in power. The man has been rewarded. There are soldiers guarding his house 24/7, holding arms. So you don't expect that they are going to open their doors and say, come and take pictures. No, they won't do that. But we know what we are talking about. Our intelligence is rock solid, and his track record bears our assertions out. It's as simple as that. And if you doubt us, then the question is, of all the people in the military, how come that it is only this man who was found worthy of the position of General Commanding Officer for Central Command? And how come that this appointment was given to him in 2024? Why not Northern Command? Why Central? Why Ashanti region? You think it's a mere coincidence? Well, we don't think so. So Ghanaians are discerning. They can put 1 + 1 together. They can make their own judgment. But as for us, we will continue to monitor them very, very keenly, because we know and believe that the intelligence we have is rock solid. Yes.
My name is Ubek. I report for J1 TV and Star FM. So beyond this press conference, I want to find out, are you going to formally write to the CES or the Ghana Police Service to conduct an investigation?
Emphatically, yes. We will be petitioning the IGP because he's the chairman of the Election Security Task Force. We will also be drawing the attention of the CDS to these developments officially, because we are aware that he knows. But everybody is scared of the man because that is the Kufuor's darling boy. But the CDS has a responsibility to Ghanaians to act. And so we will officially be petitioning his office. But not just that. We are going to ensure that the king of the Ashanti people, who is very much interested in the peace of our nation and the peace of the processes leading to, during, and after the December 7th election. I'm talking about Otumfuo Tutu II. We will officially draw his attention to these developments, because the headquarters of the operation of this guy is Kumasi. And I know that the Otumfuo cherishes the peace that the people of Kumasi and the Ashanti region enjoy. And he will want to take an interest into this matter and call this guy to order. But not just him, our external developmental partners will also be notified. And so the observers will be notified, The foreign missions will be notified. And we are so excited. We are so excited that the Secretary of State of the United States of America not too long ago issued a notice, a circular, that anybody who tries to undermine the peace and stability of Ghana or the sanctity of the 2024 December elections process in Ghana will face sanctions from the Americans. And if there is anybody that Brigadier General Oboku fears, it should be them, because he likes to travel. He likes to travel a lot. And that is a topic for another day. So we will draw the attention to what he's doing. That is not to say that we will stop at that. No. We are going into the election with all the necessary precautions. Like Azuma Nelson, we are going with our referee in our pockets. And what we will do to make sure that they don't succeed is not a matter for public consumption. Let's continue. I believe this will be the last but one, right? So we'll take this and take the last but two. Okay, let's be quick.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Victor Carlio, correspondent for Radio France International here in Ghana for the past 9 months. I have to repeat what the first colleague of mine asked you today. Where does intelligence come from, and at any point are you going to bring some evidence, at least to the CDS or someone to back what you are happening?
Let's take the other question.
My name is CMG. Aside calling on the various security agencies, what mechanism is the party putting in place to not only secure the ballots but also ensure the protection of the electorate and encourage a high turnout?
Thank you. Last one.
I want to ask if I can take 2 quick.
No, one.
My name is James Savage. I work with Joyce. Mine will deviate a bit from this, but we've heard that the MP for NDC Central has withdrawn his bid as an independent candidate. Want to know if he has withdrawn to support your presidential and parliamentary candidate. Thank you.
That goes without saying.
I'm Godfrey from GBC Radio. You said the man has vowed to actually cause violence and break the election. Saying someone has vowed is very serious, and to the effect that he has even moved his family outside the country. Where did he make that vow? To whom and when?
All right, thank you. So, on Memphis Central, I think you got your answer. We are excited that the Member of Parliament for Memphis Central has made that decision. The interests of our party and the decisions of the party always hold supreme, and it's important that all members comply. And so the party is united in Memphis Central behind the duly elected parliamentary candidate of the party, Mrs. Joanna Kujo. And I believe that Honorable Kwachiaka fully supports President Mahama as well as the candidate for the NDC for the presidential election. So you have your answer. And there was a question about whether or not we intend to present any evidence to the CDS. I believe that upon our petition being brought before the CDS and the IGP, there may be a call for further and better particulars. And at that level, we will share the details of our intel with them. These kind of security intelligence are not matters that you share on TV and radio. But when we meet them, when they give us that audience, we are happy to share that with them, because we need to, in the public domain, at least protect our sources. So that is what I can say. And I think that same answer also applies to the last question we had as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a summary of the press conference we did today. I'm going to do a brief translation in Akan language, and I want to plead with you to bear with us. Just keep your cameras and microphones in position. It will be done in the next 5-7 minutes. But let me say this finally before we draw the curtains down on the English presentation. You all, as media men, have a role to play in this year's election. You are the fourth estate of the realm, and you should be interested in the peace and stability of Ghana, and in the sanctity, the credibility of the electoral process. You've seen this man. Once upon a time, 2019, Colonel Michael Opoku, today Brigadier General Michael Opoku. So you have a conscience, and you have your own ethics of your profession, ask yourself whether this man is fit to be the general officer commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. Ask yourself if he is even fit to wear the uniform he's wearing today, given the atrocities he supervised against innocent civilians at Ayawaso West Wuogon and the recommendations of the Short Commission on Sin. I believe that every reasonable man will agree with us that this man is a threat to the peace and stability of Ghana and a threat to peaceful elections in Ghana. And he must be held accountable for the atrocities he has already committed at Ayawaso West Wuogon and not rewarded with such a critical position. And so for us as a political party interested in having a credible election, a peaceful election, and like I said, our commitment to Ghana having a peaceful election is unconditional. And that is why we are saying this guy should be nowhere near the security architecture for this country, because he represents a very dangerous threat to peaceful elections and the stability of Ghana. And so it now behoves on you to inform your audience out there and the people of this country by extension, and to ask the right questions for the right people, specifically President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is his appointor and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, to provide us with the necessary answers. Now, abusuafo enne ensentrofo nhyiamu ayeye asem to fabo mu nyina ne se aka ena edumwotwe 18 days ne beto aba NDC egusu aye bontoa na ye nhyehyɛ pa a ye wo ma o man Ghana no ye de mu nchiri mu ma Ghana fo, because ye nimsa abatwe mu hia e wo se ye ma Ghana fo ehu de NDC amanyuku ni John Dramani Mahama woma won no mu gina no so de to aba amanyo abato ayeto yi abato hia e wo se ya asundwe ye mpe pintin eni oye ne bia wo Ghana 392 aye started to aba o mu se yenya how kakra de be Ghana mfe na bia ya abato ya asundwe a ama ye dimpa e wa bibrim ni wiase nyina enti afi so ye hwese Ubia beye de woso ye na bibia ya jojo bibia ya sumwe ne beto aba na wie no na yes amanyoku NDC edi nkunim de be na Ghana fo nyina ya di nkunim na ye ni age na ye gusi because abato no aya sumwe ama de Ghana fo peno no wadi nkunim ba ye gusu a ye bonto ya na ye nya na sutiri se already a ye friend Brigadier General Michael Opoku Imprimpi a ye kase ohwe asojafo adwuma yiku ni mu a position kase ewom a ye frɛ no General Commanding Officer for Central Command Ashanti Region and the areas under the Central Command of the military no papa ile dano na MPP fo abone pa mene mo kase onam kana na kwanso eboa MPP say on 2nd December special voting day any December 7th a yebeto aba no omode patapa any frakadam ebiwi aba ni mu e de ama NPP fo na asemo ayeka no enye se ye ni nyina so mpanyin se asemo eni adanse na yetwa asem ne fa bi ne ye de adanse ure ya ayeka na asemi enye nne ene yebete ne ho asem o Ghana in 2019 no ye Colonel a we Director of Operations for National Security. Emra yekoto Ayawaso West Wuogon by elections. You reign as I'm a friend Colonel Michael Lupuku. Ono ne fa MPP for vigilante for omo pay your friend double. Na omo tu epempam national security ntare share omo.
So you've been watching a live news conference from the headquarters of the NDC, addressed by the party's communication officer, Sami.